vector quantities. What are the objectives which we want to learn in this part? We will start with identify the concept of speed. We must know the meaning of speed. Number 2, identify the concept of velocity. Number 3, compare between speed and velocity. So we talk about 3 points in this part. Identify concept of speed, concept of velocity, and differentiate between them, as we differentiate between distance and displacement in the previous part of this lesson. Let's start. First, we will talk about the speed. What is the meaning of speed? When there is an object, it starts motion from A to the final position D, passing by B and C. أهو بصوا كده معايا يا شباب. Pay attention with me. This object starts motion from A and ends motion with D, passing by B and C. This object covers the distance 30 meters from A to B in 30 seconds. Then it covers 60 meters from B to C in 20 seconds and moves from C to D 30 meters in 10 seconds. So the path of this object is A to B to C to D. This object starts motion from A and ends motion with D. Time. So the distance covered by the object, as we talked about it in the previous part, we find the summation of the distance covered by the object. 30 plus 60 plus 30. This equal 120 meters. This means that the distance covered by the object equal 100 meters, 120 meters. So the total time taken by the object to cover this distance, 30 seconds plus 20 seconds plus 10 seconds equal 70 seconds. 70 seconds. Yes, let's continue. When we talk about the speed equal, as we talk about it in the first lesson, equal total distance divided total time. يبقى average speed equal total distance divided total time equal 120 meters divided 70 seconds equal 2 meters per second. Average speed from this part can be defined as the total distance covered by the object in 1 second. 1 second means unit time. يبقى the total distance covered by the object in 1 second or in unit time, that is the meaning of speed. Speed can be identified by magnitude only, so speed is a scalar physical quantity. طيب لما أقول give reason لspeed is a scalar physical quantity, هقول because it can be defined by its magnitude only. Yes. velocity. يبقى احنا كده اتكلمنا على السبيد وقلنا ان السبيد the total distance covered by the object in unit time or in 1 second. طيب what is the meaning of velocity? Velocity, it is the displacement covered by the object in 1 second. تعالوا نشوف المثال اللي قدامي. من A ل B، من B ل C، C ل D، يبقى ال starting point A، ال ending point D. طيب أنا هنا عندي فين ال displacement؟ فين ال starting point ال A؟ فين ال ending point ال D؟ طب ال displacement هنا equal إيه؟ equal 60 meters. يبقى أنا عندي هنا ال ED equal 60 meter اللي هي ال displacement. طب ال direction بتاعي فين؟ قال لي from A to D، يعني في eastward direction، في اتجاه الإيست. تمام؟ قال لي طيب the total time equal 30 plus 20 plus 10 هيبقى equal 60 second. ده التوتال تايم. طب أنا كده حددت الديسبيسمنت، حددت التوتال تايم، أقدر أحسب الفيلوسيتي؟ يبقى الفيلوسيتي equal displacement divided total time. يبقى total displacement divided by total time is known as average velocity. The displacement equal 60 divided total time equal 60 equal 1 meter per second. What is the direction of velocity? In eastward direction as the direction of displacement. The same direction with displacement. Okay. So we can differentiate between speed and velocity as speed is the total distance covered by the object in 1 second, while velocity it is the displacement covered by the object in unit time. Average velocity, it is the displacement covered by the object in 1 second. That is the definition of velocity, or the rate of a change of displacement. A velocity can be identified by its magnitude and direction, so its type is vector. I ask you one question. Give reason for displacement and velocity are vector physical quantities because they can be defined or identified by their magnitude and direction. Yes. So velocity considered vector physical quantity. Notes. The measuring unit of velocity is meter per second or kilometer per hour. The same measuring unit of speed, meter per second or kilometer per hour. The velocity is the speed equal the speed, but when the object moves in certain direction or in straight line. يبقى لما اجي اقول لك سؤال I ask you one question when the velocity equal the speed, when the object moves in a straight line, as we said that this in the previous part when said that when the distance equal the displacement, they are equal when the object moves in a straight line. The velocity is the speed, but in a given direction. This means that in certain direction, when the object moves in a straight line in one direction. Velocity is vector physical quantity, so to be determined it is necessary to identify its magnitude and its direction. So it is the vector physical quantity. Question number 1. What is meant by body covered 50 meter northward direction in 5 seconds? What does this means? This means that there is a displacement. How can you know this object covered displacement non-distance from its direction? In this question, body covered 50 meter in north direction. This means that the object covered displacement. Direction بتاعي northward direction in 5 seconds. يبقى هقول this means that the velocity of this object equal 10 meter per second in northward direction. The velocity has the same direction of the displacement equal d over t. 50 divided 5 equal 10 meter per second in northward direction. يبقى هنا عندي displacement and the velocity have the same direction. Yes, excellent. Example. In the opposite figure, a body covered 30 meters northward within 30 seconds. Where is this distance or this displacement from the starting point to ending point in north direction equal 30 meters. And the time taken to cover this displacement or this distance equal 30 seconds. Then the object moves 40 meters in east direction, that is the east direction, within 20 seconds, because the time taken to cover this distance equal 20 seconds, and stopped at the point about 50 meters from the starting point. توقف هنا, stopped at this point. The distance ما بين the starting point وال ending point equal 50 meters. Find or calculate number 1, total distance moved by the body. Number 2, average speed. Number 3, displacement. Number 4, average velocity. We will start with question number 1. How can you determine the total distance covered by the body or moved by the body? By summation of the distance covered. This means that the distance equal total distance equal 30 meters plus 40 meters equal 70 meters. Number 2, the average speed. How can you determine the average speed? By total distance divided total time. But average speed equal total distance divided total time. Total distance covered by the object equal 70 meters. Total time عندي هنا 30 seconds plus 20 seconds equal 50. The result of this division equal 1.4 meter per second. This means that the average speed by which the object moves with it equal 1.4 meter per second. Pay attention with this value because we will need it in determination of the average velocity to compare between the two results. Number 3, displacement. Type. Where is the displacement? It is the straight line or the shortest distance from the starting point to ending point. This straight line equal 50 meters. So this means that the displacement covered by the object from the starting point to ending point in certain direction equal 50 meters. Yes. Displacement equal 50 meters in northeast direction. Number 4, average velocity. The average velocity equal the total displacement divided total time. The total displacement equal 50. The total time equal 30 plus 20. 50 over 50 equal 1. Which of them is greater than the other? The average speed or the average velocity? The average speed. Why? Why? Because the total distance is greater than the displacement covered by the object. Yes, excellent. Example number 2. Pay attention with me. In the opposite figure, car starts motion from point A to point F. Yes, start motion from A. Okay, then it passes by B, then to C, D, E, F. What is the name of starting point A? What is the name of the ending point F? Passing by B, C, D, and E. Find or calculate number 1, total distance. Number 2, displacement. Number 3, velocity, if you know that the total time spent by the car equals 0.033 hours. Number 1, we will start with total distance. Total distance equal, first, this car covered distance from A to B equal 2 km per hour. From B to C 5 km per hour. C to D 1 km per hour. From D to F to E 3 km per hour. From E to F 1. This means that the total distance covered by the car equal 2 km plus 5 km plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 equal 12 km. That the result of this summation. Number 2, the displacement. Where is the displacement? The shortest distance between the starting point to ending point. This line segment equal the line segment BC minus the line segment ED. Why? Because line segment from B to C equal 5 km. So from E to D 5 km. طب أنا عندي D للE 3 يبقى هنا عندي remaining part equal 5 minus 3 equal 2 km. تمام. طيب عندنا number 3 velocity. If you know that the total time spent by the car equals 0.033 hours. طيب أنا هحسب velocity ولا هحسب speed velocity؟ يبقى أنا هختار total distance ولا هختار displacement؟ هختار displacement. يبقى أنا عندي هنا velocity equal displacement divided total time. يبقى equal 2 over 0.033 يبقى equal 60.6 km per hour. The velocity by which the car moves with it. Yes. Another. Type. What is the direction of the velocity? The same direction of displacement. The direction of displacement from A to F. This direction is eastward direction. Eastward direction. Yes. Another part of this lesson, pilots take in consideration the velocity of the wind. That is the life application on determination of velocity and the speed. Why pilots take in consideration the velocity of the wind? Why? Because the direction of wind affects the velocity of the plane and hence the time of the trip and the amount of fuel consumed. Yes, this means that the direction of wind affects on the velocity of the plane. When the pilots move in the same direction with the wind, it takes a shorter time and it takes small amount of fuel and its motion very faster. So we must know the direction of the wind because it affects on the velocity of the plane and the time of the trip and the amount of fuel. يبقى this means that the direction of wind affects on 3 points. Number 1 affects on the velocity of the plane. Number 2 the time taken by the pilots to this trip. Number 3 amount of fuel consumed. Yes. The movement of winds arises from جت منين الwinds؟ اللي from the difference of air pressure, as we talk about this information in the previous year Prep 2. We know that the wind arises from the difference in air pressure in different regions above the sea, the Earth's surface. So the wind moves from higher pressure area to lower pressure area due to the increasing of amount of air in the high pressure area and a smaller amount of air in lower pressure area. Movement of the Earth around itself from west to east affects the direction of wind. which affects the value of velocity of the plane. Yes. Big problem. In the opposite figure, if the object starts moving from point and returns back to the start point through B, C, and D, calculate the average speed and the velocity. Yes. In this figure, the object covers 20 meters from A to B in 25 seconds, then 40 meters in 45 seconds from B to C. أهلا يا روان، أهلا بيكي، شكرا على مشاركتك. عندنا هنا الأوبجكت moves from C to D 20 meters in 25 seconds. From D to A 40 meters in 45 seconds. Who can answer this problem? انتظر ثواني أشوف الحل. Yes. Who can determine the average speed and the velocity and give reason for your answer? Number 1, we must determine the total distance covered by the object from the starting point to ending point. So the total distance equal here. Total distance covered by the object from A to B, then from B to C, and from C to D, and return back to A. يبقى هنا هبدأ أجيب التوتال distance هتبقى equal 20 plus 40 plus 20 plus 40 total distance divided total time. عندي هنا 25 plus 45 plus 25 plus 45. يبقى the average speed equal 0.86 meter per second. ده الافريج speed. تعالوا نكتب أو نشوف الفيلوسيتي. طب أنا الفيلوسيتي هحسب إيه؟ هحسب الديسبليسمنت، مش هحسب مين؟ الديستنس. تعالوا نشوف. برافو يا روان، برافو. الافريج سبيد equal total distance divided total time. Excellent my dear. Yes. طيب determine the velocity. Yes, I wait to you. Yes, yes. Excellent, my dear, yes. Rawan said that the displacement covered by the object equals 0. Why? Because the starting point of the motion is the ending point. So there is no displacement covered by the object. This equal 0. While the velocity equal 0. Why? Because if the velocity equal displacement over time equal 0. Excellent. Yes. اللي اتكلمنا فيه النهارده. We talk about number 1 scalar physical quantities. طب تعالوا نفتكر مع بعض كده. What is the meaning of scalar physical quantities? It is the physical quantities can be defined by its magnitude and has no direction. الفيكتور physical quantities it is the physical quantities that can be defined by magnitude and direction. What is the difference between distance and displacement? A distance, it is the actual length covered by the object from the starting point to ending point. What is the meaning of displacement? A displacement equal the shortest distance from the starting point to ending point. طيب تعالوا نشوف اتكلمنا على ايه كمان. أول نقطة اتكلمنا فيها النهارده على السبيد. What is the meaning of speed? distance. تعالوا نرجع كده مع بعض نراجع مرة تانية اللي احنا خدناه النهارده. أول حاجة بدأنا فيها the average speed. What is the meaning of average speed? The average speed, the total distance covered by the object in 1 second. Yes, so speed can be identified by its magnitude only and has no direction. Okay, so the average speed is a scalar physical quantity because it can be defined by its magnitude only. شكرا يا توني، شكرا على المشاركة الجميلة. يبقى average speed equal total distance covered by the object divided total time. اتكلمنا على ايه كمان النهارده؟ velocity. What is the meaning of velocity? It is the displacement covered by the object in certain direction divided total time. Yes, so the velocity in this examples, as you say, total displacement divided total time. 60 divided 60. في سؤال من روان. Can we have an online test on unit 1 next session? إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله. Okay. I thank you about your suggestion. Yes. Average velocity equal displacement covered by the object in 1 second. It is the rate of a change of displacement. Velocity can be identified by or defined by its magnitude and direction. So it is vector physical quantities. طيب اتكلمنا على ايه كمان النهارده؟ اتكلمنا على نوتس مهمة جدا ان دايما الميجرنج يونت للفيلوسيتي the same measuring unit of speed meter per second or kilometer per hour. Yes. The velocity is the speed in certain direction or when the object moves in certain direction or in a straight line. Velocity is the vector physical quantity. So to be determined it is necessary to identify its magnitude and its direction. اتكلمنا على ايه كمان النهارده؟ خدنا examples. قبل الاكزامبلز خدنا what is meant by body covered by 50 meter northward direction in 5 seconds. How will this mean that the velocity of this body equal 50 divided 5 equal 10 meter per second in northward direction. example لو احنا فاكرينه حسبنا total distance، حسبنا average speed، displacement and average velocity. خدنا ايه كمان؟ ادي السوليوشن بتاعي. example numbers 2 حليناه برضو مع بعض. تمام. ادي التوتال ديستانس تبقى equal to plus 5 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 equal 12. طيب الديسبيسمنت equal to، وقلنا ليه؟ لان انا عندي اللاين سيجمنت هنا 5 هيبقى minus 3 equal 2. الفيلوسيتي displacement divided time. yes. آخر نقطة اتكلمنا فيها كلايف ابليكيشن إن البايلوتس take in considerations the velocity of the wind because the direction of the wind affects on 3 points. Number 1 affects on the velocity. Number 2 time of trip and the amount of fuel consumptions. Yes. آخر نقطة اتكلمنا فيها البروبلم. ما شاء الله عليكم اللي انتوا حلتوها لي. روان حلتها، بقيت زمايلنا حلوها، ما شاء الله عليكم. شكرا لمشاركتكم معايا في حل الأسئلة. أوعدكم إن شاء الله بإذن الله نعمل امتحان أو تيست على يونت 1 بإذن الله قريبا. تمام. Thank you.